of this. Thank you. So, Cosmas, welcome. Please take us through the session today.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can get you.
So first of all, I think I love to thank what do you call it? That's Rust Analyzer.
Yeah.
And GitHub Copilot, because it can generate like so much code for you. So you just have to, maybe if it is wrong, you just change it. So I think most of the code for me, as far as I'm concerned, was somehow generated. So it was like, I just write a comment. Maybe I can show an example, right?
Yeah, maybe you can just share your screen and show us how to use the tools you've just talked about.
In a minute. Oh, sorry. I can't share my screen as per now. I don't have the permission.
Let me just change that. Can you try again now?
Yeah, much better. So yeah. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, yeah, sure. You can see it.
Yeah. So as I was saying, once you understand the basics, in my opinion, understand the basics of coding. What's this? Yeah, once you understand the basics, you can, let's say this is the main, this was my app. Let me run it. How does someone minimize this?
Minimize what?
This thing is covering.
Maybe you can just drag it around.
Maybe. Okay. So let's say let me run it first. It's covering the screen. So let's say cargo run. Yeah, maybe I did check that. That's an error. But anyway, I wanted to show something as far as coding is concerned. So let's say it's a bank app, so we need maybe a bank account, customer, manager, what else? Maybe let's say something like a loan. Let's say a loan. So if you have the Copilot installed, you can say something like loan struct RS or something like that. Just give the compiler what you want to create, so you can do struct. Yeah, as you can see, it's completing everything. Then I do that. Then implement, just that imp. It will almost generate what I want. Maybe I can edit it if I want. So
wow.
I think for those people, maybe they're facing some issues, just use Copilot. As you can see, it has generated a struct and an implementation. So let me say something like,
that's GitHub Copilot.
Yeah, Copilot, and it's also, what's the name? It's down here. It's called Kite. It helps generate code because it analyzes like what the other people have done, then it can help with that. So let's say take a loan.
Maybe you can just put it in the chat for all of us
in
to
the
get it.
chat. Yeah. Kites and so we'll say something like loan. So we say something like, let's say generate interest. I think I was working on it. That's why it can't run at the moment. Okay, maybe generate is, in fact, it's even generating some new methods. So I was not thinking about loan number or something. Yeah, or generate loan. Calculate interest. I think it can help someone who has some experience but doesn't want to type all this.
Yeah.
So it does all. So I'll honestly say most of my code was generated because from there. So it's better you work with what you have instead of fighting it. So at the moment, I think there's an issue. Maybe I don't know if I can fix it. I stop sharing, I fix it, then I can share it later if someone else can take the opportunity.
Let me see.
Yeah, let me stop sharing, then maybe once I fix in the next 2 minutes, I can share if no one is sharing.
Okay, no problem. Okay, great. Is there any other person who may want to take us through their code or what you've done so far? Yes, there's Alan. So Alan, you're going to join as a panelist, and then you'll just be able to share your screen as well. Okay. Yes, Alan, you can just proceed now.
Okay, before Alan comes on, I think I've fixed it. I was trying to share like fast before while he's fixing it up. Okay. Okay, so you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
So thanks to those plugins, this is like what I'm presenting. Yeah. So you have these options: create, update, delete, whatever. Select one. Let's say create. Random name. So I was working to select an initial balance. Then create this. Then okay, so it stops running, but you can run it again. So it's still, as it's saying, it's just something. Maybe deposit money, withdraw, account number. We're not doing that like confirming if the account number exists. We just say, oh, give your account number, amount, withdrawal of, this was a withdrawal. Yeah, successful.
So maybe if you don't mind, you can just take us through a sneak preview of your code. I mean, how you managed to go about the challenge.
Considering, I was thinking that we can't put like the account bank customers in one file. It's going to be a large file. So I was using I'm not like, I started using Rust recently, so I'm not that good, but I'm using mods.
Yeah, actually, that is the
Yeah,
way it's done.
Yeah, mods accounts. This is mod account, this one, bank, this file, customer, this file. So in the customer, we have abstract and
So
so I'm using an account in the customer.
yeah.
So the customer has customer ID, name, and accounts which are vectors
Mhm.
of accounts. So one customer can have more than one account.
Okay.
Okay, let's start from the bottom. I think accounts, account number, name, balance. This is, it's not used at the moment, but a new one is number, name, and balance. Then we come to customer. You can have more than, he or she can have more than an account. A new customer, add account. So self, it's also vectors. This, so
Yeah.
we can add more than one account. Then this was bank. I'm still not using it at the moment, but one bank can have a name and multiple customers. Then I have this, I created this today, just now.
Okay.
This is generating account number randomly using this create manager. It's like a customer, but is a manager. Then we have main. So in the main file, we initialize somehow initializing accounts, which are vectors of accounts, customers, which are mutable, and a bank, but we just give it this name. Then print all this. Then the customer has a choice which they make. I mean the user. Then this basically whatever the customer number, we have 1 to 8. So whatever number they decide.
So it's like you're displaying options for them to
Yeah,
key in.
yeah, option.
Okay.
So the choice is an option. So you're telling us about match. Match is like in Java it's
Switch.
like
Switch
yeah,
status.
switch. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a switch. So according to, you can see I have like 8 options.
Okay.
So based on the option, for example, the first option, I'm like print your name. I get that name. Oh, this is the variable for the name. Then I get the name, retrieve it, create a new customer. As you can see, we're using this customer, right? ID, name, and account. New customer. Then I'm like print a new balance. Then that balance, I get that balance. This customer map up here. I had to like, okay, the balance, I pass it. Then I create a new account from this struct. Add to the customer, add the new account. Then to the number of customers, I push that customer. Then I print that. So it's like, it's that I'm just pushing to the same thing. Print what you want, get it from the customer, pass it or trim it, do the same thing for another detail, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Then
And
you can pass those details.
how are you getting this information from the user? I mean, is there a way, how are you getting the user input from the terminal?
This is what gets from the user. So once, let's say, let me do the first one. From, let's say we run it and it says create new account. So I put one. So the code is like option 1, this is option 1. Please enter your name. So please enter your name. This is the code. Then whatever data I put in is going to be this name. So new name. Then I put in then standard input, which STD input. This you can see the documentation for that. So you get that data. Yeah, get that data. Then, for example, it has some spaces. You just remove the spaces. Then you initialize a new mutable customer. And initial balance. This is what is so enter. Then it takes this is actually what gets it from the command line.
Wow. So maybe you can just paste that in the chat.
What do you
Because,
paste?
the code that helps you get the data from the command line. Because
Okay, let me
some of us were trying to inquire how we get that information from the terminal. And maybe it could
can
be a good way to
maybe I would prefer to share just the code on GitHub, then
okay.
someone can look at it.
Yeah, sure. So maybe you can just share the link, then they can refer to that later.
Okay, thanks. I'm sharing that.
That's a good that's a good job so far. Have you been able to translate it to a smart contract? Though I can see Samson with the Samson, your hand is up. Maybe maybe you can just raise your concern.
Actually, I started.
I'm just curious. When now it's a smart contract, like, can somebody still input from the terminal? Because you are running the contract from the near CLI. Will there be an interface? Have you tried? Like, have you tried making it a smart contract? Because I don't think when making it a smart contract, it will not work.
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
I think a smart contract is like an algorithm. So you can't do it. You can't like do it every time. It's more like an initial thing. More like an initial thing. So once you do it, you can deploy it. Then you can use maybe JavaScript to interact with it, but the actual code doesn't change. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Samson, if I got your question right, you're trying to inquire if the user will still be able to key in the inputs from the terminal while invoking the function on a smart contract. Is that the question?
Yes. Because yes, that's the question.
Yeah. Now, at this point, I think Cosmas was just showing us the program in in a bare Rust program. So it was just the normal Rust code we were doing in our earlier sessions. Unless Cosmas, you can confirm this to us. But from what I saw is that you've still not implemented that as a smart contract, right?
Actually, that was the last part, but I started on the contact.
Okay.
Today, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, okay, the users will still be able to key in the inputs, that is the bank name, whatever the contract is going to require from the terminal. It's only that, whatever is going to change is the way they key them in, okay? So if you remember in our previous class, while I was showing us the wish list smart contract, we could pass the parameters, in this case, the arguments we need the users to key in as a JSON representation within our terminal. I don't know if you can remember that. So there's a way we could key them in. Maybe I'll just find that file and show us. So you'll still be able to do this from your terminal and as well as from a JavaScript point of view. So you either can use a web frontend or JavaScript framework. It could even be your backend, your Node.js backend, but still you'll be able to do it from your terminal. It only the only thing that will changes the way you provide the inputs, okay, to your function while you're invoking the function. Then at that point, while it is a smart contract, you'll be able to persist the state. So there's some repetitive work you'll avoid, because once you create an account, it will be persisted on say on the smart contract. So you won't have to recreate again whenever you run your smart contract. Let me just share this, maybe to show us how we were going about it. Oh no, not this one. It's that just opened up. Yeah, awesome. So right here, you realize we were calling our smart contract, and you are passing the wallet address where we deployed our smart contract. And then we follow by the name of the function we are invoking at this point, a read wish list. Then following the function name is a JSON kind of representation where we are having the parameter name and the parameter value. I don't know if you can see that, Samson. So there are these single quotes that are coming first, then these curly brackets that are basically a representation of a JSON object. Then we have these attributes. Okay, so at this point we have a start parameter. So our read wish list function, if you can look at it from our lib, let me just get these. Where is that? So right here, our read wish list function is expecting us to provide a start parameter and a limit parameter, okay? So while calling this function, we indicate that our start parameter is going to take a value 0 and our limit parameter is going to take a value 10. So this is basically how you're going to key in the inputs after converting it into a smart contract. I don't know if that answers the question, Samson. Hello?
I don't know if I can come in for a second.
Yeah, sure.
So if someone is coming in from an object-oriented programming background,
yeah,
maybe they need, you know, a config file whereby you define like the URLs, environment, things like that.
Yeah, sure. So actually that is what, okay, we just did part of that in our scripts folder, but yeah, you can always, you always need to have all that in place. Guys, I just have my machine, my machine has just misbehaved from my end. I can't do anything on screen. Okay, things are back to normal. Okay, thank you. Now, okay, someone also wanted to go. I think that was Alan. Alan, are you ready? Or maybe Cosmos, are you done with your presentation?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, okay. And guys, if you have any question for Cosmos, maybe you can just put it up as well. So Alan, maybe you can just take it. Tom?
I'm trying to share my screen, but I can't.
Let me just stop sharing from my end. Can you try now?
Yes. You can see. But you can see my code.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So basically the challenge was about creating a simple bank app with the functions outlined, and then you mentioned that we should use traits, and then we should use objects for the account, and to try to store the account details in a vector or an array. So basically, as for this the account part. So first you tell the ID to identify the owner of the account. and then the name of the account, and then the balance. So yeah, this is the place of creating a new account,
Yeah.
the function. And then for the operations, I included all of them in a trait. So there's register, update, delete, deposit, and withdraw.
Wow.
And then I implemented all of them here now.
Oh, that was great.
And so I came now to implement them in the app. This way I get to call them. So here is where I initialize the accounts vector. And then for me, I preferred keying the values in the app already.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first account is mine, Alan Okoth testnet, Alan, and the initial balance is 1,000. So because it's a float, you have to add a decimal point. And then once accounts have been created, it's printed and then pushed now to the vector. And then I created another account for James, and then print, and then push to the vector. And then the third operation is to update the account. So I changed my name of the account from Alan to Alan Okoth. And then I printed the contents of the database to see that it has changed. And then this is the deposit function. So for both accounts, I deposited 1,000 and 2,000 respectively. And then I printed to show that things have changed. And then with the withdraw functionality. And then let's keep this one at the moment. I'll finish on it, the transfer part. So let's go to the delete. So to delete the last account created, you can delete through POP. And I tried a different way of deleting as well, whereby you provide the index. So as far as when it comes to the transfer function, I find it very hard to implement it the same way I've implemented the other functions. So that's why you'll find it separate.
Okay.
So if I try to like include it here, it's going to create an error whereby I'll have to like check the vector twice. And my ID brought an error whereby I'm not supposed to check the vector, a mutable vector twice.
Sorry, Alan, can you do that?
Yes.
So that we can see the error? Maybe we can solve it together.
Okay. Let me copy this. Let me turn up my IntelliSense as well. Transformer.
Okay.
Where are you today? Oh, there it is. Function transformer. Ouch. Where this error come from?
Maybe it's not public.
Okay. Now it's good. Now let's try to implement it. So at the moment, let's delete one at the moment. Same as this. So we'll try to transfer account from Alan's account. Dot transfer. Dot transfer. So yeah, you can see an error.
Yeah, there's an error. So
So let me scroll. So it's asking me to remove the mutable part.
What about the 500?
Let me try to do. Oh, chill. Expected. Oh, yeah. There's a mismatch of arguments. Amount first and then vector
Account.
second. Yes, first the arguments we are good. Let me check the other now. There's this new error. Move occurs because Alan account has type count, which does not implement the copy trait. Cosmos, in your code,
Yeah, just go to the
there's that
account.
function of copy.
Yeah. You have
Was
it
it?
IntelliSense, right?
Yeah, I have it.
Just try create copy method.
That one.
Yes, that
You
one.
can see my screen.
Yes, that one. Try it.
Okay, let's check. So it's it's a new error now. Same error.
Okay, maybe Paul. Let's hear Paul first.
Oh my God. Can you go back to your structure, your account structure? I earlier used clone. Yeah, that is actually what you've used right there.
So I change or add copy.
No. I think it should be okay. Okay, maybe we can just add that. Though it has an error, maybe you can just.
The error is still there.
Can you try removing the mute keyword? Because you already have it specified in the argument. So right there, the transfer money right there.
This one.
Yeah, how about you just go with it? Then
we have to as well as remove it down here.
No. You can just leave that. Just leave whatever is in the parameter.
As in remove the mute.
No, don't remove the mute right there.
There's a new error whereby they're saying there's a mismatch.
Okay. Can you try removing the space? There's a space between the ampersand and the accounts.
What did I do?
Sorry.
So the new problem is that there's a mismatch around mutability. So
okay.
Because in the trait and also the function instance implementation,
yeah,
the arguments have mutability.
Okay. I
think you're borrowing in the transfer money. You're borrowing the what do you call it, a reference pointer? So in the definition, you borrow it, but right now in number, go up there. That's why you're using it.
So this is the trait. So let's start here. This is the trait, and it has a mutability keyword in front of it.
Okay.
So the reason for that is because here in the withdraw part, we have to change the values of the both accounts.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why we need to have the mutability aspect. And so let's come back to now to the implementation.
Then it means we must have the keyword mute over there as well.
Okay.
Without that thing before mute, try to take it out and see what happens.
Let's see the error.
Try line 39, removing before.
I remove what?
It doesn't work.
I think if I remove that ampersand, I have to remove it as well in these other parts.
No, that would really bring an error because
I think I have an idea of what's going on. If you're transferring money, let's say 102,
Yeah.
line 102, line 102, 102.
1 or 2. Yeah.
You can't transfer money to multiple accounts.
No, one is withdrawing. So we are withdrawing from the center, and then the second transaction is for now depositing on the recipient.
I mean, to solve the small issue, just have withdraw money and deposit money. Because let's say if I'm a user, I can't.
Yes.
I'm transferring money. I only have one option. I'm sending, or I'm depositing, or I'm receiving. I can't do one function which withdraws 103 and deposits 104. So maybe that's the issue. I'm not sure though.
okay. I'm trying to think that Alan, you're trying to withdraw from someone else's account, then deposit it to another person's account. Is that what you're trying to do?
Exactly. Because if I send money to Cosmos, that amount has to be deducted from my account first.
Okay.
I'm not going to get it, but the bank will first deduct it from my account, and then we'll take it and then deposit to Cosmos accounts.
Yeah, sure.
But I think that's somewhat complex. You can just take two accounts, sender, receiver, subtract the amount from the receiver, add it to the sender, or vice versa. So you save yourself having to synchronize just whatever amount. Yes,
the withdrawal part.
Yeah.
The withdrawal part is basically deducting.
Oh yeah, sure. So the functionality actually is just the same. You're basically deducting the amount, and then I hope the deposit is adding. Yeah, in line 95. So it's basically adding the amount. So I guess it's just the same concept Cosmos is trying to bring. It's only that you've decided to put them into functions, right? Yeah. So maybe you can just take us back to where the error is. And let's see.
Expected 2 arguments, found 1.
Why is that?
Expected semicolon.
Where?
Found keyword mute.
Yeah, I think you should use the ampersand before mute, right? You should add it before mute. Yeah, something like that. Then we now say that we have
no, the copy error.
What of value, Alan? So we are borrowing a value after the move. Then I think the value, okay, the issue is in your, sorry, the Alan account object. Alan account object.
Okay. Yeah. Another error here.
Yeah, so I think that is where we have the issue.
Uh,
So we first of all are mutating it, right? Then after that, let me see line 10. So in line 10, we're basically invoking up method, okay? And we're doing that. Then, okay, line 15, we are doing another account. We are basically creating another account.
yes.
Okay. Now, you see in your line 11. Yeah.
There's an error.
No, I think the issue could be arising from that because once we have created a mutable Alan account object.
Yeah.
In line 10, we are doing some operations with the object. Then we are pushing the whole account. We are pushing the whole account to a vector. So it means that object does not exist anymore within our memory. So it is automatically cleaned out of the memory in line 11. In line 11, that is not not what we've deleted.
Okay, so chill.
So it means.
So let me change it.
Yeah.
Change it to accounts. That way. This way now I'm not referencing to this one.
Okay.
There I've gone.
So we have accounts.
So there is now here.
Yeah, the area is now
so this the main challenge I came across, whereby I cannot like borrow more than once.
Yeah, it cannot. So you see, in this case, when you want to borrow a mutable object, you have to do it once within the program. Until you're done with the operation, that's when you can again borrow it as a mutable object. But in this case, what's happening in your line 38 is accounts, the first name account is already borrowed as a mutable object. Then you're still trying to pass the same object down again as a borrowed mutable object. So that is where the problem is. So if the two objects were different, then that would be possible.
What if I change this last argument to the second account?
The second account,
like account index 1.
No, still the accounts object. You see, at this point, you are referring to the accounts object, not the element of the accounts. Yeah, so that is where the problem is. So if we would have, say, accounts 1 object and accounts 2 object, then that would work. That would work perfectly. But that is where the issue is coming in.
So how would I go about removing error? My choice was to execute this function, to take this function outside.
Yeah, that would as well help address the issue, because then in that case we may not need to borrow it again to double borrowing the same object.
Transfer.
A suggestion: use OOP to avoid to know what's happening where 'Cause right now it's in one page, so one line might create errors in the whole program.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Cosmos?
Uh,
I was saying, like going forward, just arrange your code in object-oriented way so that everything works differently. So you can find out where the error is coming from. Because right now,
Okay.
one line is going to stop your whole program from running. So
Okay.
yeah.
And by the way, guys, depending on the way you're going to structure this simple program, you can as well use it as your demo project as well, because I can see from those of us who presented, like you've added some different features within your program. So I saw loans, I saw manager and all that. So if you can just model that into a smart contract, it can as well act as your demo project, so that you don't have to redo again a different project. So I guess since this is a function on its own, you don't have to call it from an object. So in line 38, maybe we should do away with that. Yeah. Then line 53, you're passing in a mutable self while it is not a method. So maybe you can as well remove that. Yeah. Should be a float.
Oh, point 0.
Yeah.
Now let's run.
Great.
So, did not create account Alan. Oh, so I'm going to remove that that copy function. Oh, yes. So initially we had to print so this is the code of the implementation.
Okay.
So as you've seen here, we're creating a new account, alan.testnet, Alan, the balance is 1,000, and then creating a new account, james.testnet, James 1,000, and then to update account in the code, where are you? This part, we are updating the name to for account index 0 to Alan Okoth. You see here, the name is Alan. So, and then once the details have been printed, the name becomes Alan Okoth. So the next is depositing 1,000 and 2,000 respectively for both accounts. So as you see, the initial accounts here have a balance of 1,000 and 1,000. When we deposit 1,000 to Alan Okoth, it becomes 2,000. And then we deposit 2,000 to James' account, it becomes 3,000. And then withdrawing 500 and 700 respectively from both accounts, So for Alan, the balance is 2,000. So when we withdraw 500, it becomes 1,500. And then when we withdraw 700 from James' account, which is 3,000, becomes 2,300 as a balance. And then this is the transfer part. Let me print the details in the transfer part. Yes. So back to the transfer part. So we are sending 500 from, we are sending 500 from Alan to James.
Yeah.
So at the moment, Alan's account is at 1,500, and so we withdraw 500 and then transfer it to James. So the balance will be 1,000, and then the balance here of James' account is 2,300, and then when we add the 500 from Alan accounts, it becomes 2,800. And then we went to delete now functionality. To delete this, the pop functionality in a vector, whereby we delete the last element, pop. So by doing that, we get to delete James' account, and then we remain with only Alan's account. And then this different approach of deleting, whereby we delete by providing an index to the vector. So we delete the account at index 0, which is Alan's account. So once we delete, now we have an empty vector that is from me. Back to studio.
Wow, that's great. That's great, Alan. Guys, I really hope we've learned something from the Cosmos and Alan's code. At least they've taken us through what they've done, and we at least have a clue of what we need to do. I just encourage us to now try to implement this as a smart contract. So you already have a code running as a Rust program. So I want you to basically translate that into a smart contract and also figure out how you can use. Now, instead of guessing figures here and there, you can now make use of the NEAR tokens to act as the actual money that is going to be transferred into those bank accounts, so that instead of us just keying in figures, someone is actually able to attach tokens for them to be able to deposit within their account ID. That is actually my aim. I want you guys to be able, because one advantage that blockchain avails to the developers, or in your hand as a developer, is that you can program your own money. Okay, so these tokens we've been hearing about, these coins, the Bitcoin, the DAI, the USD Tethers. So all these are just money that have been programmed. Okay, so they hold some value, yes, but they're just basically computer programs. So that is my aim with this class. So if you can translate this into a smart contract, this is really going to be a very good idea. And like I said, because you guys are doing it on your own, and each one of you have their own implementation, so you can as well sort of submit this as your demo project, depending on how well you're going to do it. And we'll also be seeing on how we'll be tackling something to do with the front end. So basically providing a front end to your smart contract, and you'll be able to provide a front end to these this simple bank account, banking system. And yeah, this will be a very great achievement on your side. So let's do that. Unless, is there any question maybe from, yes, Cosmos? Cosmos, your hand is up. Maybe you can just unmute and air your concerns.
Maybe I need to stop sharing first.
Sorry, I was facing an issue. I wanted to say, for those who are still attending,
yeah,
let's just share ideas. Sharing is caring. So whatever, let's just share. I'm thanking Alan actually for this opportunity. So let's just share.
Yeah, sure. And if, as by the way, if you have some other ideas that someone can work on as a demo project, one good thing with the blockchain applications is that most of them are open source. Okay, so you can basically go and study a code, see how it works, and maybe improve it. Okay, so you can improve it, and that is how blockchain applications sort of gain their development, the growth of their development. Yeah, so if you have an idea, you can just put it up. You can put it in the group. I hope we're also planning on having a day just to brainstorm on the ideas as well. I think Cosmos, you raised the idea. That's a good idea. So we're planning on that before we come to a close of the session. So we'll have a day just to tackle all that so that we can as well give some of us an idea on what to do as the demo project. It can as well count. Yeah. So any concern or any question from anyone up to that point?
You had said that you're going to share the implementation of the wish list smart contract, but I checked your GitHub and never saw it.
I actually shared the link, even in the group.
Is it in the which GitHub, your personal or the
No, no.
Sankore 2.0?
Sankore GitHub, Sankore Academy. Let me just share it here again.
Okay.
Let me just share that.
Speaking of GitHub, I'll appreciate any follow I get there. GitHub follow, one follow is 1,000 Facebook friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone can share their GitHub and we follow each other.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
can
good
as well
idea.
work.
Good idea. For anyone, this is mine.
So let me just get the code. Let me just get the link again. I actually pushed. Do you guys have the repo of the wish list in Rust before we?
Yes, I have access to that one.
So I avail it as a branch to that particular repo. Were you? Can you able to confirm? Are you able to confirm that? Maybe if you're able to access it, it's wishlist app, wishlist DApp, under the same
Yeah. What must you have my follow already? Okay.
Alan, have you seen it?
I'm looking.
Okay, let me just share this as well. So to those of us who want the Git repo, there you go. It's under the wishlist DApp branch of that particular repository. The wishlist
Okay.
repository. Yeah. So
yeah, I see it now. Yeah, I can see it.
That's awesome.
Yo, I followed Alan, Paul. That's your GitHub.
Oh, my GitHub. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was
the Sankore 2.0 is your GitHub.
No. Sankore 2.0 is Academy's GitHub.
Oh. Yeah, also share yours and follow back.
Go and look at the person behind the code. I think you can get to his account.
Yes.
As in, to find your account,
Yeah.
simply look at the person who published the
sure.
code.
Sure.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
what about the other 4 attendees? They're not talking. Let them share their the links. We can
Let
follow
me-
them.
Yeah, so the rest, please, you can talk. I've just allowed you, all of you guys, to talk. So you can just go ahead, please.
Destiny ametoroka.
So
Destiny?
for me, I'll just say I'll share my GitHub on the group chat, on the Telegram group chat. But thank you so much, Cosmas and Okot, for sharing your work. Like we've really learned a lot, especially your inaitwa analyzer.
Yeah,
It will really come in hand.
the helper.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, but
It's
thanks a
actually
lot.
the
We're all
code
learning.
itself.
Yeah.
It's like Stack Overflow on your laptop. So
Exactly.
you don't Google, just type a comment, what you want to build. Then obviously maybe it's not perfect, but somehow you can work with that.
It's easy now to tweak from your end.
Yeah.
It's
And
a given.
it's also like a motivation.
Yeah.
Philip, share link here. We follow you right now. We might forget.
Okay, just a minute.
The username, maybe the username only. And the others, we just follow each other.
That's some.